Episode number 14 with Stephen Daniel.
I got X-ray specs for eyes. I can see right through you.
Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Stevie B
And Dan G.
and Dan G. How are you, sir?
Well, Steve, I'm not doing as good as you.
Why? Because
Someone's off in some exotic land, and I'm just here in this terrible place they call Santa Barbara, California.
Yeah.
Just left me here with
Nicaragua.
palm trees.
Nicaragua.
Palm trees and the Nika.
The Nika. Yes, I've been busy all day celebrating.
With
we've got-
cigars and tomahawk steaks for $5. I get it.
No. I've been celebrating National Blackberry Pie Day.
Yeah, I know. I heard about this National Blackberry Pie Day, and you know what the other day is, right?
No, what is it?
National Road Worker Day. Like, really? Really?
You know, for 35 years, I've just been pounding the desk saying that we need a day for Blackberry Pie and a day for road workers, and I see that now it's finally happened.
I mean, it's a game changer.
It really is. It really is. You know, it's never going to be the same.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who is making these days up. That's all I want to know.
It's the same
I
guy
wanna
that's
meet-
just saying 4 out of 5 dentists approve.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
think
same
they're
guy.
friends.
Yeah.
And the same guy that makes the signs that say "click it" or "ticket," right,
Yes.
on the freeways.
Slow
I think
for the
they're
cone zone. Yes,
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
They're all in cahoots. Like, there's someone who intentionally went out and made National Blackberry Pie Day.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I just- can
I
I get
wonder
that
how
kind of
much
time?
it cost our government to come up with that day.
I don't know, but like every day it's like something just a little bit more stupid.
There's one guy just sitting at his desk getting paid like 140 grand a year, just writhing and going, "What day is going to be the next day? I have to come up
Yeah.
with something."
A National Fig Leaf Day,
Yes.
Date Day.
The lava lamp day. That's what it's going to be.
There's a day for like we've run like they're starting to double up on the days if you're starting to notice, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's-
We got food covered on this one, and road workers covered on it as
Yeah.
well. So maybe
And I
maybe
was-
we'll take them a blackberry pie and
Yeah.
that
Right?
would satisfy both days, and we'll go to sleep tonight and not know what it's going to be tomorrow, but
Right.
we'll get something.
You'll just know that you gave some road worker a blackberry pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. we can all sleep better now.
Hopefully, it's
you know
nice
what?
if he shares with his other road worker buddies. We'll see.
Oh, he obviously won't, but I have a pretty good feeling they don't do this like in China. It's like, don't look at the road workers.
We'll put you in jail.
Yeah, don't eyeball me, boy.
We got some email from a longtime listener.
Nice.
Yeah, says, "Hey, I've been a longtime listener from episode 1. This
Wow.
was back when you guys were a
Jeez.
poker show. You recommended your show and had a great time listening to you guys over the years. Sad to see Mike go. He was a big part of the show that I miss. Happy for you
Oh
both trying
God,
a new
geez, now
thing."
you're making me feel bad.
Well,
Jesus.
this is where you get a little. He says, really like Daniel's and yours episode on 248 on the Roth IRA account. So remember that one? I was up in Big
Yeah.
Bear. Yeah, you remember that. And answered a bunch of my basic questions. I looked up all the recommended ETFs in the list, and I have a question. He said, I have an Ameritrade account. Okay. And he says, why would you invest in gold if it doesn't pay dividends? Also,
Good question.
if I invest $50 or $100 each month, is it even worth it to have a Roth IRA account? Yeah. So this is from Sergey. Yeah, Sergey. Great. Thanks for writing in. Very cool.
Yeah.
So
questions.
in that account, we recommended 40%. Or we're just telling you what Ray Dalio recommended. Was he recommended 40% long-term government bonds, 15% intermediate, 30% S&P 500, 7.5% gold, and 7.5% some type of commodity. And he's asking, well, all these other things, they pay a little dividend every, the only one that doesn't pay a dividend is the gold. So why bother
Right.
having it if it doesn't pay a dividend? And I don't know. You want to answer that, Daniel? I guess it's just like a basic safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no yield on gold, right? So
No.
I mean, we're all in, obviously there's no yield on that. And so it's really, it's more of a preservation, safekeeping,
Yeah,
it's,
it's going to
preserving
follow
what
inflation
wealth
and kind of keep.
preservation.
Yeah, wealth insurance, wealth preservation. You know, but
The two, well, the envelope, I mean, the envelope, the two envelopes, Steve, that's
two
always a
envelopes.
good, the two envelopes. Yeah. The envelopes. Come on.
No, what are you
I
talking about?
give you the envelope. It's the year 1900, that whole one.
I don't know. No, what do you mean?
I give you
1900?
two envelopes. It's the year 1900.
Oh yes, from the last show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have
Perfect
$25
example.
or gold. Piece
You
of
have
gold. Yes.
gold is worth $25 an ounce, in the year 1900, and I give you $25 in the other envelope. Well, fast forward to 2021. What are you buying with your $25?
Not a whole lot. Maybe a couple people can get a meal at McDonald's.
Yeah, your $22 burrito
Yeah,
and a drink.
exactly.
And your gold is worth like, I don't know, about $1,800 right now, $1,900.
Yeah, 1900, something like that. Yeah. And
So
that'll
it's
continue to
just a
follow
way to
inflation,
preserve.
So yeah, just think of
Right.
it as wealth insurance. And what I recommended on that
It's
show, the ticker GLD, we've since learned that's paper gold. It's just futures. It's not backed by anything. The one you want to be in is OUNZ or CEF, but put
CEF
7.5% of
goes.
your Roth IRA into that, Sergey. Yeah.
And those are the ones
So
that
yeah,
actually
if you can,
house the gold.
yeah, the most you can put into the Roth IRA right now at the time of this recording is $6,000 a year. If you can put 500 a month or 100 a month or whatever you can put the most that you can. Yeah, certainly doing some is better than nothing for sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you
Cool,
for writing
man.
in, Sergey. It was very cool. I got to talk to him on the phone.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, he's neat guy. He's in his mid-30s. He was born in the Ukraine and moved to the U.S. in 2008. And he does.
Oh, yeah. Is he from? He's from Kiev.
I don't know what city. He's from Ukraine.
Oh.
But
Oh,
he
okay.
does fencing and Uber and sells soccer jerseys. And anyways, he's down in San Diego, so semi-local. If we're ever down there,
man.
we'll
Yeah.
beer
Fencing's
with
tough, man. I mean, have you ever tried to fence?
No, but I've seen it on TV before, if that counts.
Olympics.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a really hard sport. Like your wrist, like your forearms. Oh my god. I did it for just a little, just checked it out. But it
Yeah.
was it's very. I mean, it's definitely a sport. It's
Okay.
hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, felt like
Okay.
Yeah, felt like a Three Musketeer.
Okay. Yes. Right on. And let's see, another shout out. Oh, Sergey left a review. He said, I've been listening to Steve and Mike since episode number 1. It's been a fun adventure. In it to win it is different because there's no poker involved, but I still enjoy listening to Steve's stories and plenty of new guests you can learn from. Great job.
Cool.
So, yeah, very cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sergey.
Let's see. We got one other shout out from Mark Gruber.
What's up, Mark?
Mark in the house. He got some Rio 2 stock, the RIOFF from Alex Black that we had on last week. And maybe we should say I feel like we've made some recommendations on this show. Maybe we should just say that we're not trying to make any recommendations. We're just trying to tell you what we're doing, and you can either run with it or not.
Yeah, it's very subjective.
Yeah, exactly. It looking back, probably 3 or 4 months ago, we were talking about McDonald's, Coke, public storage, AT&T, a lot of these
Waste management.
waste management. Yeah, what are some others that we've
There's quite a few of them,
quite a
but
few. But anyways, the ones you picked up, I believe every single one is up now.
everyone, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of
Daniel
things
and
are
I
up
have
right
gotten
now.
out of a few of these, and or what you could do is you could trim your position. You could
Mm-hmm.
see. It's the thing of it's going to be very likely continuing to pay you a dividend every quarter or so, depending on which one you got. But I don't know. The market's just like everything that Randall taught us is like screaming sell on almost all of these. you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I feel it's like it's a race car about to burn out.
Yeah,
That's kind
yeah,
of where we're at.
yeah. So maybe
We're
trim some.
redlining at the moment.
Yeah, what we're doing here is we're trimming some of our positions and some of them that have made 25% in a month and a half we've sold and. It's I don't know. If you haven't looked at it since we talked about it on the show, since you bought it, now would be a good time.
Yes. A very good time.
A very good time to look at it. Yes. So, and you
Yeah.
do what you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'm recording out here in Nicaragua. This country is very cool, dude. It's
Well,
very
you know what? It's like because I did a lot of surfing. I used to go surfing in Costa Rica back when beers were $1.
well, they
They're not
fucked
a
that
dollar
shit
in
up,
Costa.
didn't they?
Yeah, I have a new term I've coined, and it's called imperial tourism.
Imperial tourism.
Feel free to use it, but that's basically when a bunch of gringos go down and ruin a place, and they kind of ruin Costa Rica. I really didn't see any difference in the prices from
From LA
from from LA to Costa Rica. There's a guy on his cell phone, like, hey, I'm about to buy this property. Like, I'm gonna go into the Starbucks. Hold on a second, Bobby. It's like, really? Hold on, I'm gonna get in my Range Rover and drive away. I'm like, that's not really why I came here.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying. When it really got me though, I was I like to dawn patrol surf, when the sun comes up, it's rising, that whole deal. So I go to this what I thought was, it's not really a secret spot, but it's just a lesser known spot.
Kind of
And it's
secluded,
about slightly secluded. We drive out, about 4 of us, and then the sun's not even up yet. It's still dark. Pop in the water. I go through a few waves. I can barely see. The sun's starting to rise. I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden the sun just pops through, and then it's just all kind of lit, right?
Mhm.
So, and then I just look down the beach, and there's about 300 people in the water. I'm like, you guys just peed on my parade. This just totally ruined my experience. Like, this is terrible. Like, there was at least a couple hundred people in the water. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So that was my last experience with Costa Rica. But my whole point is Nicaragua, it's kind of like the new Costa Rica. Well, people have been saying that for a bit, but since you're there, and from everything that you've been talking about, I actually thought it was going to be a little bit more run over. Excuse the term, but thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more run over. But you seem to making it out, maybe because of COVID. I don't know. Obviously, less people there because of that. But the prices and everything. You're telling me the beers are like $1.30. So to me, that's like Costa Rica 10 years ago.
We went to a bar yesterday and we mistakenly ordered a pitcher. I told her the word for on tap out here is jarra, and I'm used to en barril, like in Colombia. And anyways, we got
interesting.
that,
Yeah.
and it was let's see, 70 cords, so that's $2 for a pitcher of beer, $2.
$2. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's like $2 Chuck, but in beer status.
Right? It's now most. I've learned that most Nicaraguans make between $150 to $200 per month. So,
Wow.
to put that into perspective, let's say your net worth is $1 million, and you come out here, you're worth 35 million, right? In their money, so Yeah, it is extremely cheap. I mean, I got a
That's like
T-bone steak.
Cambodia prices, Steve.
That's what I was been comparing it to. Is I think it's very close to Cambodia prices. Um, my God, it's cheap. I mean, like, yeah, you go out with $50 and you're completely fine. Yeah, I mean, like you can buy or do
You
anything
can
you
get
want.
home, you can eat, and you can have a little bit of a good time for like $50.
We're
That's
we're, we're going to the city we're in right now is called Esteli. It's about 2.5 hours out of the capital, Managua, and it's a big cigar town. So this place really didn't get hit by COVID. I mean, some of the places closed for a couple of weeks, but they just kept pumping out cigars. And cigars is one of those defensive, companies that they do well during times of good time, and they do well in depressions as well. And they did fine through COVID. People didn't stop smoking, and so we got to do some tours in cigar factories. That was really interesting. Because we're
anything
actually
you can
staying with a
share?
gringo right now, who is in and has been in the cigar business his whole life. He used to have a shop in America, and now what he does is he's kind of got a side hustle down here where he just buys the cigars direct from the cigar factories, and then
How much are you paying for the cigars, Steve?
he's paying, okay, and Joe and I got a block of 50 cigars for $50, a buck each, and these are like Cubans, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So he gets the cigars anywhere from $1 to $5, and then he ships them to his customers in the U.S. And I think most of our customers have been to a cigar shop, and the cheapest one in the big humidor is probably $11 to $12. So you guys could do the math.
Minimum, yeah.
Some of the
Yeah.
most expensive ones are 50 or 60, and yeah, he just kills it. And he does these other little side hustles where they have a lot of clothing here is incredibly cheap. Jesus. Shirts are anywhere from a
I
dollar.
never
to
thought
$3.
that Nicaragua would be a fashion destination, but hey, it's all
In
good.
this town, it is because they ship. There's huge amounts of donations that come from the U.S. and they ship them down here to Nicaragua, and
You're
they're
making
like
that sound
these.
like a thrift store, though.
They're like little tiny thrift stores everywhere, but the clothes are new.
Oh, they're
So
all brand new clothes. Oh, okay. Well,
there's
I'm
some
glad you made that.
secondhand ones, but most of them are new. And
Oh, really? Okay.
it's
It's like Nike donations.
yeah, it's I mean, there's some. I mean, yeah, the guy we're staying with, Joe, he got a pair of $400 boots for I think $2. So the people down there they don't know what they have. They just got a shit ton of clothes, but the locals can't afford more than a buck or two a shirt. You know what I mean? So they're just moving them. And
Wow.
yeah,
Interesting.
you want to get a wardrobe, you want to come to Esteli, Nicaragua, and you will be outfitted for $25. It's impressive.
With $400 boots.
Yes. Right.
Well, I
Yeah.
never would have thunk.
Clothing is almost free here. It really is. Like what you really should do is come here with an empty bag, which I wish I would have done. Just come here with an empty bag and then just buy all your clothes, the first and second day.
Well, I do have some experience in that kind of department. I'll share something with that later, but at this point, so I'm actually slightly curious as to your findings on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's. I'm gonna go out again before we leave this town. And
Are you going to take some pictures and post them for people or what?
all
Some of the
right, yeah,
boots or
I'll
what?
throw them
What's
up
going
on Twitter. And
I want to see these $400 boots, dude. I'm gonna.
Well, I didn't buy
you
them.
take
The owner of the place did.
Well, I know, but I want to see the $400 boots. And if they
Okay,
were really,
all right,
you know,
okay. I'll
yeah,
have them printed
yeah,
out and
so-
we'll put them up.
Yeah, they're like cowboy boots with like a Nike sign on them or something.
This is Adidas.
Painted on. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're not telling people some fluff here,
All right, fair enough.
There's a group of people going down there. Well, Steve told me that I could get a whole new wardrobe, and like this is not working.
Well,
So,
let me tell you this. I went into one of
put some
the other
validity.
ones. I went into one of the other stores to look at shirts, but since it's inside and it's like a big department store and they have 9 employees
conditioning?
instead of and air conditioning and all that, I find this shirt and I'm like, oh, this thing's perfect, but nothing has any price tags on it. In these countries you go apart. So I go up to the front register and I'm like, how much is it? And she's like, 280 cords, and I'm like, fuck, well that's only like $8. But I'm like, I've just been buying shirts for $1 and $1.50 and $2 at the most. And I'm
Now
like,
you're like, oh my
I
God, this
really
is
like this
highway
shirt, but I
robbery.
can't justify paying $8 for it. And I actually walked out of the store. I was like, damn it. It was a great deal at $8. In the United States, that would have been 35. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I'm like, well, if I look through
Oh,
some of these other
man.
stores enough, I'm gonna find like 4 shirts just like that for $1. Like,
You've been spoiled with your $2
I was so spoiled
buck
with
chuck
that.
tea. $2 beer, $2 t-shirts,
Right?
$2. Well, the tomahawk steak is what? How much is your tomahawk steaks out there?
Oh, that one with tomahawk steak. It was a 2-pound steak. So I only ate
Okay.
half of it at the meal, and then I had the rest this morning with cut up some eggs, and Joe and I had it for breakfast. But
Okay. It's
it
probably
was.
grass fed out there.
It is. It's all great. They don't have the farms like we do in America. And it yeah, the cattle farm.
You're not eating two-headed cows?
No. Just single-headed cows down here. That's all they got.
Yeah.
Shocking. They need more culture.
They're not feeding them like only corn grain or
Right? Just soy.
yeah, just soy, like GMO.
Yep. But
They're actually eating grass.
yes. Yeah, it was good.
They're-
It was
they're-
$20 for a bottle of water, 2 beers, a tomahawk steak, and all the veggies and sides and everything. And that is probably the most expensive meal in the city.
Wow.
I got a T-bone steak there the night before with 2 beers and a bottle of water and a T-bone steak. It was $11. I mean,
These are great prices, man.
it's so cheap. We went out to a club.
So,
We bought
Mhm.
2 bottles of liquor. We had 4 beers. We had a
like,
plate
wait,
of
when you say
nachos.
bottles of liquor, like what kind? Are we talking rum or what are we
Yeah,
talking
it's
here?
the local rum here, Florida Caña.
Is it as good as Colombian rum?
I think it's better, personally.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
so those of you who
Colombian
haven't
rum
had
is
that
pretty
kind of rum, yeah.
sweet. This one isn't
Mhm.
quite as sweet. It's a little bit more like a Jack Daniels almost or something. Well, Jack Daniels is kind of
Well,
sweet.
Jack Daniels is kind of sweet,
closer,
Steve.
yeah, closer to a Scotch, I think, than a rum. You know what I mean? Like it has
Right,
a little bit of
okay.
a bite without the real sweetness.
So
We had
those
2
people who
bottles.
haven't had a really good rum, though, it's like I don't like. What's that Peter Pan rum, Captain Hook? What are we talking here?
Oh yeah,
Like,
Captain Hook.
yeah, that's not really rum, guys.
No.
okay?
That shit is terrible. Don't.
Yeah,
don't compare this to that at all. No.
Yeah, this is completely different level of rum. Like they make some amazing rums in these Caribbean places.
Yeah, so we got 2 bottles of rum, which both to get one was a small, one was like a medium size. Both together, I did the math, and they equaled about a fifth, right? So 750 milliliters. So we got
Right.
that much of liquor, 4 beers, a plate of nachos, and some other kind of appetizer. I can't remember what the hell it was. It was something from the locals here. With tip,
Like crickets.
$20.
Wow. Yeah.
This was in
So-
like a bar, like kind of / dance club, you know.
Wow. Yeah. So this is like kind of quote unquote higher end.
Yeah.
But let's just make note that you're kind of in the innards of Nicaragua currently. So I'm a little bit more curious to see what the current kind of pricing is with everything as you kind of head towards the coast.
Yeah.
So I think
true.
that'll be
am
kind
in
of
the
interesting as
mountains.
well.
Yeah, there are like
You're using BFE,
I
everybody.
think there's 4 white people in this entire city of 20,000 people, and I've
Oh,
already
wow.
met all of them. You know what I mean? And Joe and I are 2 of them.
Yeah.
And we're staying with the 3rd guy, and we go and meet the 4th guy. I'm sorry, 5 guys. We go and meet the 4th and 5th guy every day for lunch. So it's
Oh wow. You guys are like zoo animals there. You're
we're like white sausage links just walking through the market every day. It's just so funny.
wow. People are like touching your hair and stuff.
Yeah. What is that, Mom? No, that's a güero. Just leave him alone.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
That's a
We call those
gringo,
gringos. They're called gringos. Don't touch him.
Yeah, don't touch him.
It's the devil.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. So things are incredibly cheap there. I've always been actually curious about Nicaragua. I've always wanted to go because I wanted to surf the coast. San Juan del Sur is definitely a destination place that I'd like to go, and that's a place that you're going to, right, Steve?
Yeah. From here tomorrow morning, we're gonna head out for the weekend to go to a town called Granada, and Joe, the guy the local that we're staying with, he's been super cool, man. We're staying here for free, and he's showing us the town. He's letting us use his Jeep. It's it's pretty cool. Anyhow, we're going to Granada.
Now, careful
over
with
the
that. You might want something from you guys. You might not let you guys leave.
weekend. No, he's good.
This might be like a Deliverance movie thing going on.
I think I might actually have him on the show. He's an interesting character.
Yeah, as long as he lets you leave the ranch.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I can leave.
Hey, please let me leave. So, I'll be good.
Oh,
Turning-
and so we're gonna go
Yeah.
down to Granada and spend the weekend there, and he's gonna show us that town, and then we'll come back and probably spend a couple days here, and then.
So, just so people know, is there any highlights or anything in Granada? Some say Grenada. I don't whatever. It's, Is there any, like,
I don't
special-
know. I am
like
so bad at doing any kind of research before I go somewhere. Like my traveling partner Joe always does that, and I may do a quick like phone Google search here and there, but usually I just fly by the seat of my pants, and then I just go and talk to people, and then from then I kind of find out, this is the cigar capital of the world. Okay,
Oh.
well
You like
maybe
to,
I
like,
should go to a
stumble
cigar
into your
factory. Okay.
Yeah, we call that stumbling around, Steve.
Yeah. I'm just like a blind man without a cane. Just,
Yeah.
just
Just
saying,
looking for new
"Marco,
experiences.
hello."
Yeah. So is there like a bunch of hot chicks running around there, or like what's the deal? I'm trying to get like a visual of this area.
I
you're
would
in.
say,
Like it's
okay,
like Brazil
probably-
hot women, Colombia hot women, Venezuela, Chile kind of thing going on.
okay, what the routine we've been doing since we got to this town for the last 4 or 5 days is we've been going out in the afternoon. We sit down at a little cafe where we get a 50-cent coffee, and
Ooh, breaking the bank.
yeah, breaking the fucking bank, dude. And we get a 50-cent coffee, and then we smoke a $1 cigar that's a Cuban. And, so I bet to the locals we must just look like just complete rich assholes. You know what I mean? But to us, it's like, oh my God. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the guys is, I think he's 70 years old, and his pension is $1,400 a month. I think he was in the military, and he gets Social Security. And the guy is doing very well out here.
$1,400 a month.
$1,400 a month. Yeah.
God, that's how much I spend on my goddamn dog.
I feel like I spent half that on fucking gasoline. You know, I'm like, wow. But anyway, so we sit out there. So as far as the women go, I would say 60% you probably see is just female. You know, it doesn't even register as like, oh, wow, look at that. You know what I mean?
Right.
The other 40% I would say are 6s and above. Okay, so 40% are 5s and below. 60% are 5s and below. 40%.
So what you're saying, Steve, is not a bunch of fashion models like walking around all over.
Not
the
a
place.
whole lot. You know, yeah, there are some diamonds in the rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Just trying to get people perspective, I want to go to Costa Rica. This is kind of what to expect,
Yeah, in the 40% zone, most of those are going to be 7s. So it's not bad, but it's,
Okay.
yeah, we'll see. I'm curious to get out to the shore. I'm curious how the
For-
prices change.
For any women listening as well, though, is there like, some hot model dudes walking around, and like thongs, or what's going on here, Steve?
There are some guys that work out. Joe has noticed this. He's been going to the gym every day out here, and he's like, the guys out here, they work out only their upper body, and the girls.
We call that the California bodybuilder look.
California bodybuilder, yeah. So in that aspect, I guess I kind of feel at home. But the
Yeah.
girls only work out their lower body,
Oh.
so they
Okay,
don't have any
well-
toned arms or anything, but their legs are just like massive,
Yeah, like,
and the
look at
guys
me,
are
look.
just so big upstairs, but have little twig legs.
Oh, wow. All right. Well,
Different, right?
that's a little different.
Yeah. But,
I guess your takedown's pretty easy if you're doing a double leg on somebody.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just fucking throw a broomstick at their feet. And
Yeah. Just chop that leg.
just kick him in the knee. He'll drop like a ton of bricks.
just a little jiu-jitsu ankle pick. You're all good.
There you go. Yeah. But but yeah, so it'll be fun. Go out to the shore,
Cool.
see what that's all about. How about you? How's your Airbnb going in the Book? Any updates on that?
Oh,
You're on your
Bucaramanga. Yeah, we've made some progress down there finally. Well, I don't want to make
you're on
this
your
too.
third place now, right? You started with the 2 bedroom, 1 bath, then you went to the 3-2, and now you're on another 3-2 in a different building or the same
No,
building?
okay. So this is how it went down, real
Okay.
quick. I don't want to get complicated, but had a penthouse, great, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, overlooking the city, fantastic. Okay, let's get this done. Sign the papers. Well, come to find out that the people don't want to move out.
Okay.
And this is Colombia, so the lady's telling us that, hey, it could take a month to get these people out. I'm like, that probably means 3 months or probably 4.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so she's like, well, I have another place. I got a 3-3. The view isn't as good. A 3 bedroom, 3 bath. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just get this ball rolling. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So filled out the paperwork. Everything's done. We're ready to go. Then I get a phone call literally the same day that we signed the paperwork. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? She's like, well, just got a better view, and it's a 2-bed, which I wanted, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, overlooking the city on the better side. This is a high-rise building. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. So this is like it's like a merry-go-round. So finally signing the paperwork on here. So we're just in the process, got all the boots on the ground, ready to go as far as getting everything, decorated and secured, all that stuff. So that's where we're at right now. So it's, I'll have more information. This is it'd be kind of cool for people, anybody interested in doing, any kind of Airbnb, because I'm literally like going step by step through the process, right now. And this is arbitrage. So this isn't like you owning the place. So this is just a different way of
You're renting
doing
it, and then you're going to rent it out through Airbnb.
Yeah, you arbitrage, taking something and making more money off of it. That's really all. It's just a fancy word for saying I'm just making more money off an object.
From the owner's perspective, they just have regular rent coming in from you.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, you're like, okay, I'm going to parcel this down to, 2-night minimum stay to as long as you want, and I'll just make sure I charge more than my expenses, and I'll make even more.
Arbitrage at your finest.
Exactly.
So it's just kind of been an interesting. Obviously, we're doing this internationally, so there's a lot more barriers. There's a lot more moving parts because I'm doing the same thing in the States, not with an arbitrage, but with a place of mine.
Yeah.
So
You're almost
I've
done
been
with
setting
that
that up. Yeah, almost done. So I'll have more information on that.
Yeah, you've got a bedroom right there that
private
has a
entrance.
private entrance, and
Right.
you've got the stone padding down now, right? So they don't have to walk through the dirt from
walkway.
anymore.
And,
You got this bitch and fucking. How big are those stones? They're like 3 feet wide and a foot and a half.
Yeah,
And,
3 feet. Yeah.
And so you got that, and then a private side entrance, and
Everything's a 10 in the place. Just furniture's super. Everything's just really top end stuff. So
you're so
particular.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, but I was like, well, maybe I could come up with a softer word instead of that.
No, I know.
Look,
Look, that it's my downfall. I'm just a perfectionist. To me, things have to look right. For those of you who don't know, I have a design background, so I'm just messed up in the head that way. So there's no getting around it. Like
it's
everything has to be flush. Yeah, at the same time. So everything has to be flush. The lines got to look right. Just it just has to. If I want to stay in there, I want to. If I was going to stay there, this is what I want. So I'm probably going a little overboard, but you know what? I don't care.
Good for you, man. That's gonna be nice, and that'll be a perfect place to figure out the Airbnb game and get your superhost status.
Yeah. So those of you that don't know, you kind of want to be an Airbnb superhost because you just get it's a little bit more highly rated and your stuff just comes up and on the front end a bit more. So there's a lot of nice things that come with being a superhost. So I will be trying to establish being a superhost as fast as possible. That's why I'm trying to get 2 going at the same time.
Yeah, nice. Good for you, dude. Good for you.
Yeah, so we'll have more information on that as time goes on. So it's either going to be a feast or famine.
Yes. Nice. Well, I before I left on my trip, and I think you were kind of in the same boat. We both kind of took a mindset of like, we need to start getting rid of some of our shit. Like we just have some stuff that is just.
Well, I think we should just call this section of the show "Getting Rid of Your Shit" program.
Yes.
So, yeah, just the accumulation of just, I'm not a hoarder, you're not a hoarder, but like you just have stuff. You start accumulating things, right?
Yeah.
So we did a lot of research on the subject and, learned a lot. It's helped me out a lot just getting rid of stuff. I'm a pretty clean person. I know you are as well, but just the cleanliness, getting rid of stuff, just it all has a synergistic, without getting too woo woo. But there's definitely a component to it. It's kind of like taking a cold shower, man.
Yeah, there's something to like. Okay, here's an example from my personal life. Like I had a crock pot, and I got which I used all the time, and then I got an Instapot, which is basically a pressure cooker that can do all the things of a crock pot and 900 more things, right? So I've noticed over the last, I think I got the Instapot a year ago or something. Since I got the Instapot, I never used the crock pot, and I've never used both of them at the same time. You know what I mean? I've just never had to cook that much food.
It's taking up emotional real estate.
It is. It was sitting on the shelf, and it's on that little roll-around shelf that I have near the kitchen that just takes up real estate, and it's sat there for a year. It's something else that I have to dust, or it's just obvious that it looks like shit, So I was like, well, I literally got this 10 years ago at a thrift store for $5. It's not worth it to me to sell it, so I'll just give it back to the thrift store. There's so much things like that in your life that I think they take up mental real estate. What did you call him, Daniel? You call him you got a roommate sitting there?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you have all these things, right? And like for me, whatever I buy now, I really think about it. I'm like, how much does it weigh? What's the mobility? How long am I going to have it? Like, I really take it into consideration because it's going to go in this box that I pay for,
and then you have to be responsible for until you know.
You have to be responsible. Yeah, every single item that goes inside of your home, your car, you have to be responsible for that. And there's definitely a component to in your head. There's being aware of that, I think helps you. But it's like I live, the way I look at it is I live with 1,000 roommates. So, and they don't pay rent.
Yeah.
So I live with these things and they're not paying rent. I am. So they got to go, man. If they're not useful and they're taking up, the real estate in my head, and I got to think about things, and I don't want that in, because it's really like the whole, we're not telling you to like go out and, be the guy with one t-shirt and one bowl. We're just saying, hey, get rid of some stuff. It frees you, right, Steve?
It's here's another one that there's a whole group of these guys that are extreme in this, and that's not what Daniel and I are doing, but they're called.
We call that demasiado in Spanish.
Yeah, demasiado.
A little too much. Yeah.
It's these guys, I was watching some YouTube videos on them, and one guy's like, I have 53 items. And the other guy's like, I have 47 items, and that's including socks are not one item; it's two for every pair you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so they're like fighting. They're like fighting about like what's considered an item, right?
Yeah. But the average American has 300,000 items in his possession. Between his home, between his his garage, and other homes or whatever, 300,000 items.
That's a huge number.
It is. It's almost a third of a million. Our brain is 50,000 years old, but in the last 100 years or so, and especially in the last decade, we've just been inundated with technology and all this extra shit. But our brain is still functioning like we're throwing spears at deer.
we're not even analog.
Yeah, at a time when we had our brain functions like we have a teepee and we carry that thing on a horse and we walk it down to where the next grouping of animals is. We have things that would occupy a space that could take you months to have to move, and if you can whittle down on the amount of things that you have, it will free up mental energy. And I've noticed the more I do it, what we started doing this, what, a month or two ago?
Yeah, we started kind of minimizing, just
Just general
everything.
shit, and I
Yeah,
think the best
it's
way is just,
amazing. It's amazing what you can get rid of.
yeah, yeah. I
So,
mean, just start by clearing out all of the items that have clearly become junk. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when that you're just like, okay, I haven't used this thing in 5 years.
Well,
There's
one
no
of the
way I
pro
could
tips
sell it.
there, yeah,
Is
the
that?
one of the pro tips that actually helped me, and I'll just give the quick story of the ex-girlfriend who gave me, when we first started dating, she gave me a Christmas ornament that says, "Our first Christmas together." I've had this for like 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm
Wow.
like, what, like, there's just an emotional, like, oh well, I remember when she gave this. You know what you do? Take a picture of whatever it is and then get rid of it. Now
Yeah.
you have the memory. Just take a picture. That actually really helped me. Taking pictures of something that I had this like emotional connection to.
Yeah.
And I was able, you know what? I saw those, and so everything that I do, that I kind of have that connection with, I just take a picture of it and get rid of it. And it has helped.
I've started to, I had a bunch of old cards and
Like baseball cards.
no, like happy birthday cards, from
Oh
a
yeah, I
great
had
aunt
those
that
too.
died, and that's the only
Yep.
thing I have left of her, and I'm just like, I just have this fucking shoebox of cards that
Yep,
I
had one of
I
those
just
too.
have. I never look
Yep.
at, but they're there because I can't throw them away. And I did exactly what you said. Is I took a picture of them, and after that, I was able to let them go. You
Yeah,
know,
you have to. It's kind of like you have to. It's like some healing weird
it
stuff
is,
going on,
yeah.
and
Now
it's
I
like,
haven't looked at any of those pictures yet, but the fact that I
yeah.
have a picture on my phone, I think I'll probably eventually delete. But it allowed me to clear out that shoebox that I've been moving for the last 20 years of my life. You know what I mean? I moved into like
Right.
5 different places, and I'm bringing this fucking shoebox that I've never opened or looked at
Shoebox are
anything.
like, I love you.
Yeah, like what am I doing? Just let it
Yeah,
go. Let it go.
this stuff, and there's also another component to that as well. And is the fact that people, it people living in the past. So it's
Yeah,
kind of, the more that you can break away the past, and focus on your present and your future, it only helps you.
yeah, yeah,
So that's another thing. So I'm really glad I got rid of that Christmas ornament.
yeah. Yes. It.
I stumbled upon those pictures, by the way, but it was a complete accident. I didn't sit there one night with a glass of wine or anything, thumbing through like pictures. Just to let you know.
It.
But
I heard a quote that I liked a lot. They said, "When you discard something, you gain more than you lose. You get
mm,
time, space, freedom, and more energy." And
yeah,
I can tell you that after I took the crock pot and a bunch of clothes and stuff down to the Goodwill, the crock pot, especially because it was so visual and so right there and just screaming at me, "You haven't used me in a year. Fuck that Instapot. Use me or do something with me." You know what I mean? It's just like, no, I'm not going to look. It's
you
not
like
there.
Instapot more than you like me.
And I'm like, why do I have that thing? I haven't used it in a year. It's the day I bought the Instapot. I've never used that other one. And I'm like, donate it to the Goodwill. Let someone else get some use out of it before it just collects dust and time and mental energy in that space.
Yeah,
There's really
yeah.
something to that.
And I just want to make another note that organizing your stuff is not minimizing it, because
Oh
I
yeah.
tried that.
If you go down to Target and you buy a bunch of tote boxes and start putting stuff in the tote boxes and organizing it and stacking, you're completely missing what Daniel and I are talking about. You're completely missing the
Yeah,
point.
you should probably just don't even listen to this episode.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's not what organizing is not. It's not downsizing.
Think of it like, you got to think of this stuff like they're stocks. When your stock is losing itself, there's a point where you got to cut bait, or you got to deal with it, right? It's the
Yeah,
same kind of concept in a way. It's you just got to get rid of your shit.
and
Bottom line, get
yeah,
rid of
there's
your
some stuff
shit.
too that I think we end up spending like enormous time and energy maintaining all the items that we have, and oftentimes it may just be to keep an appearance. So, for
Yes.
example,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a friend of mine that has a guitar on his wall. He doesn't play the guitar. He doesn't know how to play the guitar. He's never played the guitar before in his life, but he has a fucking guitar on his wall, and has the full intention of, getting lessons one of these days. But
He's one of those.
if he doesn't dust it every 2 weeks, it becomes very obvious that he doesn't play the guitar, and it's just this thing that has got to suck, like energy out of him because it's just displayed, like in the most obvious.
And it's probably a black guitar, so you can see more dust on it.
No, it's dark blue, but yeah,
Oh,
you're
pretty
in the right
close.
ballpark. Yeah, when he hasn't dusted it in like a month, and the dust bunnies are starting to build up in between each of the guitar strings and then connect to each other one, and it's just like.
Yeah.
Bro, why do you have that?
Well, the other one too is people holding on to crap that they think is worth something. It's really not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get your money out of it. Okay,
No,
it's just not going to happen.
Just because you paid $70 for that jacket does not mean that someone will pay $70 for it 12 years later when it's no longer in style.
Or when your grandmother was hoarding those dolls, you want to get rid of them because she's like, oh, they're worth something. There's some porcelain pony collection. The shit's not worth anything. Just get rid of it.
No. You could do maybe if you have some bigger stuff or something like an auction house.
That's
eBay or Craigslist if it's worth it, if it's worth your time, but I mean, if I found the Goodwill just works great.
And
it's like cutting your lawn. You know what I mean? This thing is costing you $1 a month or whatever it works out to be, and how much mental energy of your time. Just cut the loss. Just let it go.
In the other one also, it's now I haven't solidified if this is an actual fact, but I kind of believe it on the front end, and that is a lot of people that are overweight have more stuff.
I read the same thing. That the fewer items you have, the skinnier you are generally, and the
generally
more
speaking,
the more items you have, generally speaking, you're bigger. So, how is that correlation? Maybe just they're seeking more often comfort food because they're more stressed, or they're just. Yeah, and
taking comfort in their hoarding,
right? Yes, taking comfort in their hoarding.
Well, I don't want to put any of my family on blast, but I am. And I got a couple relatives, and both of them are they're hoarders, but they're like those clean hoarders. It's all organized.
Organized hoarders, yeah.
Yeah, I got one particular and totally overweight, shitload of health problems, and the other one as well. And they're both hoarders, but they're clean hoarders. You go into the garage and there's 20 stacks all the way up to the ceiling, but it's completely organized. I don't know. There's just so much it's just weird stuff. I'm like baseball. But it's all completely organized and it's clean, which is the weird thing. Yeah. So there's obviously, different types of hoarders. There's clean hoarders and messy hoarders, but just hoarding all together is just horrible.
I like that. The fewer things you have, the less you weigh. Another interesting stat that I saw was the fewer things that a family has, the fewer arguments they have, and the more things that a family has, the more arguments that they have. And
I completely believe that. Because how many times
something associated with maybe the number one argument between a husband and wife is financials. If you have a lot of shit that you can't afford, then you're probably arguing more. You know what I mean? Just being cramped in and enclosed in by all that crap, would make for a hostile environment.
Hostile environment. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, those are, I believe it. I completely believe it. So, I mean, I'm not that skinny, but I'm not fat. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the mid-range hoarding, but I'm trying not to be. I don't know if like having muscles or anything helps out your hoarding or not, or I don't know, but I don't know if this goes more on the lean side of things or what. But anyways, bottom line, look, it's just good. It's kind of like getting up in the morning, make your freaking bed.
Yeah. Oh, that's a huge one. As soon as you wake up,
Make your
Takes what, all
bed.
of 4 seconds. You just throw the covers back up on top of the pillows. And then,
Yeah, just tuck it into the pillow, and wash your sheets once a week minimum. Come on,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
these are all things that like they help you. It's like it's like your morning routine. You make your bed. For me, well, obviously you do your squats now, Steve. Drinking a glass of water, lemon water. Do whatever you got to do. Get a routine. Be clean and like get rid of your shit, and you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know. I feel a lot better now that I mean, just random things. I live alone, and I had 8 towels. There's not a fucking scenario I can come up with in my mind where I would need 8 towels at once before I had to do a load of laundry. You know what I mean? Like I dined.
You
I
could live.
down.
You could definitely live off. Maximum 4 towels. For
Yeah,
sure.
I went right down. I took my best four, donated the other four, and I'm like, okay, that I could probably even go down to two. You know what I mean? But I'll just keep it at four
Yeah,
for now.
don't
You
no
know?
look, we're not telling you to be the guy with one bowl and a t-shirt, Steve. So just
Yeah,
calm
true.
down. Calm down. We're
Oh,
not telling you to go out and kill your dog so you can have less stuff here. Okay, just calm down.
another yes, yeah. We're not suggesting you go and kill your animals, your possums.
Yeah, you're
But
like they told me that if I had less stuff, I'm going to be better off.
another good one. My brother taught me this one when I was talking to him about how I'm downsizing all my stuff. Is kitchen utensils. Like, look at all the things that you have multiples of. Okay, so like my example with the crock pot and the Instapot, they're essentially the same thing, except the Instapot was 100 times better, so I just kept that one. All my kitchen utensils, I look in the drawer and I'm like, I have 5 spatulas, and I can't recall a time in the last 2 years where I've used anything other than that green one. Like, what the hell
Mm,
do I have these other four for? You know what I mean? So I went down and I just, if I had three of these, then, well, now I got my favorite one. And if I had five of these, now I got my favorite one. And I just whittled it all down. And oh my God, my kitchen is so much. You don't realize what mental energy it takes when you open up that drawer to look for the spatulas or the egg whisk or whatever. And there's 3 egg whisks sitting there, and you always grab the same one. So you have to mentally identify which are the 2 that are shit that I'm not going to grab and get the best one. And then the spatula, get the best one. And if you cook 3 times a day, you're doing this times 365 days. This shit adds up. But when you
yeah.
have the one spatula sitting there you always use, and it's lasted for 10 years, it's probably not going to break anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, you have that one there, there's no decision. You have the egg beater right next to it, there's no decision. It just streamlines everything in your life, you know?
Yeah.
And
Steve, I'm looking at something right now that I need to throw away.
oh, really? What do you got?
Yeah. I just realized I'm staring at it as I'm speaking with you, and I'm like, I got to get. It was a keyboard to an iPad that I was stolen, I think, or lost. I still can't figure it out. But I have the keyboard to it, and I'm sitting here going, I don't need that keyboard.
Yeah, it doesn't work for anything but that iPad that I
Well,
don't
but
have.
it doesn't work for anything but that iPad, and I don't have that iPad anymore. So I'm going to ask you, Steve, should I throw the freaking thing away in the garbage? There's no use for it. What am I going to do with it? It's like some Bluetooth weird keyboard to an iPad that is
Yeah,
lost.
yeah. Just put up a box and just throw it in shit to the Goodwill. Maybe there'll be some random guy
That has that iPad, that
or
iPad
a guy
cover.
like me when I used to be on Amazon and I scan it with my phone and realize it's worth $37 and it gets back into the system that somebody could use.
Well, I'm going to give it to somebody else to recirculate that crap. It's out of here tonight.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you.
Perfect example. You know what? I feel better already knowing I'm going to get rid of it.
Nice. Good. Good. Good for you. Good for you.
I want to go smoke a bunch of weed and go snoop around my house for stuff to throw away.
just zone out and like turn into
Yeah, yeah. Here's a good way: just smoke a bunch of weed and just cruise through your pad looking for stuff to throw away. Just take a big bong rip and go for it.
Yep. Just get lost for 2 hours.
Yeah,
Next thing
just
you're ordering one of those 2 yard containers out in the front of your house.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, right on. Cool. Well,
Well, so I mean, so kind of bottom line, look, we feel a lot better about throwing a bunch of shit away,
yeah,
and we think you will too.
yeah, yeah. Just start with the stuff that's obviously crap, and and then do things like my brother gave me a tip. Look in your closet. If you're like most humans, you probably wear the same 12 outfits over the course of a year. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And then
threw
there's
away a
some
hoodie today,
special
Steve.
ones
Did
like a
that.
suit or
Yep.
something that you may use twice a year or whatever if you're a blue collar worker like us. It just turn them around on the opposite. The ones that you haven't worn in a while, turn them around the coat hanger so it's facing the opposite direction. And if it's been a couple of months and you're like, wow, I still haven't touched any of these that have been turned around, maybe it's time to let them go. Just because
That's a
you
good
paid
one.
30 or 40 or $60 for a shirt that you never fucking wear. I mean, like, what are you hanging on to it for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good. I think you got to be, give it like at least a week and just give yourself, hey, this week I'm just gonna go through my crap and just whatever I don't need and get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah. But right on, cool. Well, that
Cool.
was fun. I think, I think the next time we talk, I'll probably be on the beach somewhere.
Steve's gonna be in his mankini on the beach with the little
yes.
tropical umbrella.
Umbrella trick. Yes.
Tanning his buns, man.
Yes. Yeah, and we'd appreciate a rate and review, subscribe. We got a lot of reviews on iTunes, but no one, a lot of 5-star reviews, but no one wrote anything. But Sergey did, so that was cool. Thank you, Sergey. And please rate and review us, and we'll read it on the air.
Yeah, just say something though. Like you guys are. We don't like you. We like you. Something.
Yeah. You have nice eyebrows, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I like your ears.
Yeah. I want to sit in the basement with you and pet a chicken.
Yeah. Let's not go that far. But it's all good.
But,
all right. Cool.
Yeah, you get all things, go to our website, stevebartonmoney.com. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. And
thank you for being a friend. Shit.
Yes. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
It's until you open your mind, open-mindedness creates that. We all shut down our mind. Like for instance, when I broke the pull-up record, everybody around me who heard the pull-up record was 4,020 pull-ups. That's the first thing they did. Oh my God. The first thing I did versus closing my mind, you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. I went and got a pen.
So how many is that every minute?
Exactly.
Every hour, every second.
Instead of taking life and making it out to be this grandiose thing, start breaking it down. Start breaking it down. And most of us, we live in a box. And we don't want to go outside that box at all, ever. Outside that box is all these possibilities of life. What we do is we shackle our mind. We are a prisoner in our own mind that this is all I can do. This is all I'm good at. And we take away the possibilities of you could be this, you could be that, you could be all these things. And I never thought at 300 pounds I could be Navy SEAL.
Wow.
So if my mind was shackled, me and you would never meet. There'd be no book.
Right.
There'd be no book. There'd be nothing. So what people understand is that they live for themselves, not knowing that you have the power within yourself to change millions of lives by facing life.
The breakthrough happens by conditioning your mind every day, by feeding it a role model or story. It's putting yourself in a peak state where you follow through by getting physically strong. It's creating a little ritual of doing a little bit each day, and then you get momentum. But the most important thing of all is what we started out with. Why? Why is it a must for you? It doesn't have to be you're against the wall, but it has to be something you're hungry for, because the only difference in people is hunger. And if you're not hungry, get around people that are hungry and something will hit you.
Your body is your unconscious mind. In a sense, if you're sitting down and you start thinking about some future worst case scenario that you're conjuring up in your mind, and you begin to feel the emotion of that event, your body doesn't know the difference between the event that's taking place in your world, outer world, and what you're creating by emotion or thought alone. So most people then, they're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, I really want to do it, but really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master, And the person, all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. And people say to me, well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown, and I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown.
The reality of life is that we will all hear more no's than we hear yeses. And we will fail a lot, and I mean a whole lot. But what I ask of you today is to not take no for an answer. Don't be afraid of no's. Be afraid of the possibility of a yes that you have prematurely destroyed because you decided to quit before the clock strikes 12.